Jeff here from SportWise. Today I'm going to show you how to create a dataspace designed to find sleepers in your NHL Fantasy League. To build this dataspace, we're going to combine three data sets: NHL player stats, NHL player info, and Yahoo Fantasy players. We'll also create a custom calculated column adding goals and assists divided by games played. Don't forget, SportWise Dataspaces update with league and fantasy stats daily. As you can see here, I'm going to start out by creating a new data space. We're going to call it NHL Sleepers. I'm going to select my already connected Yahoo Fantasy League rolling rink and hit next. From there, I'm going to start to select my data. We're going to use three data sets today. First one is going to be Yahoo players. Going to grab a couple of fields here, player name to get started, as well as the fantasy team name. You'll see why a bit later on. I'm also going to grab some NHL data, player stats from 2022. I'm going to start with team name, assists, and goals. Of course, I could have chosen anything else here to also include in my data space, or you can add it later on. It's real easy. Then hit next. This is going to take us to the join page. I'm going to add more data. I'm going to need a third data set, and this is going to be player info. The reason for this is to grab player position from the NHL, as opposed to the fantasy league player position, which can be a little bit different. Here I'm going to start building my joins. We're going to use Yahoo Fantasy Sports, joining full name to player stats 2022. And we're joining full name and player. Hit create join. You see the join tiles down there. Going to create a second one. This is the stats and player info. Player to player is the join. And as you can see, I'm going to set player stats as the anchor. This is really important. It's the largest data set because I'm going to want to see all the players in the NHL, not just those players that have been assigned to a team in my fantasy league. Once I got my new data space up, I'm going to do some minor adjustments here. We're going to get rid of the player name here and replace it with the player name from the player stats data set. This is to make sure we see everybody, not just those folks that are assigned to one of my fantasy teams. And here we've got our assists, our games played, teams, the fantasy team that the players are on. I'm going to add one more in here. This is going to be the goals, which I'm going to use for my custom calculation in just a moment. There's a lot of data to choose from here. It does get a little bit tricky sometimes to pull out the right one, but here's the goals I'm looking for from player stats. Once you get used to this, it goes a lot faster. Here I am adding in a new custom calculation. So you can see I start the expression with two open left-handed brackets, and I'm just copying pasting here. I'm going to take the season assists. I'm going to add the goals. And again, just watching my expression here, making sure I've got my brackets opening and closing. Then I'm going to close out my expression and divide that by the number of games played. This is a really simple calculation, just as an example here, but we're going to see the number of assists plus the number of goals divided by the number of games played to date. And that's going to help us get some insight into who might be a sleeper. Once I hit calculate, I can see that I've got a brand new points calculation column shown here. And that is the outcome of my formula. I can then filter out any of the players that are currently assigned to one of the teams in my league. So I'm only seeing available players, lots and lots to choose from here, lots of great information. The other thing I noticed is that some are showing with a much higher points calculation because they haven't played very many games. So I'm going to set the minimum number of games to 10. Then I make sure I'm only looking at players that have had a reasonable amount of ice time, and I can be a little bit more confident in the insights that are being calculated here. I can also, of course, sort by position. If I'm looking for a center or a left wing specifically, I can filter those out and then change that view very quickly. And of course, I can always come back and revisit this data set as it is updated with new stats daily. I'm going to save my view here. Makes it easier to come back and make sure I'm always going to see the same thing. And there you go. That is an overview of how to create a data space that is designed to find sleepers in your fantasy league. Thanks very much, and be sure to check out SportWise today for free.
SportWise!